June to Delapan 1815. A muddy field near Waterloo. Napoleon versus Wellington. Europe's fate hangs in the balance. But what if one decision had gone differently? What if Grouchy's 33,000 men had marched to the sound of the guns instead of chasing Prussians? Napoleon's defeat at Waterloo is often seen as inevitable, yet historians calculate the odds of his victory were nearly even. A single hour changed everything. The weather played its part. Heavy rain on June 17 softened the ground. Napoleon delayed his attack until noon, waiting for the mud to dry. That delay proved fatal. By the time the French infantry advanced, the Prussians were already marching to Wellington's aid. Had the sun shone earlier, Napoleon might have broken the British lines before reinforcements arrived. Troop morale was another hidden variable. Napoleon's army was a mix of veterans and raw recruits. Many had served under him before, but some harbored doubts after his first abdication. Wellington's army was equally fragile. It included British, Dutch, Belgian, and German units, some of questionable loyalty. A decisive French breakthrough could have triggered a rout. Political maneuvering in Paris also hung in the balance. Napoleon had returned from exile to a divided France. Royalists and Republicans watched his campaign with wary eyes. A victory at Waterloo would have silenced his critics. It would have cemented his dynasty and forced the Allies to negotiate. Instead, defeat led to his final exile on St. Helena. Now imagine the alternative. Napoleon wins. The Prussian army arrives too late or is repulsed. Wellington's coalition collapses. The Congress of Vienna's settlement unravels overnight. France would dominate Europe. The Bourbon monarchy would not be restored. The balance of power that shaped the 19th century would never exist. Britain's naval supremacy might still hold, but its influence on the continent would shrink. Without a check on French power, the British Empire might focus elsewhere. The immediate chaos would be immense. Borders redrawn, thrones toppled, alliances reversed. The map of Europe would be unrecognizable within months. This is the divergence. A single battle, a few hours, a handful of choices. The world we know hinges on that muddy field. But what if Napoleon had won? The smoke clears over Mont Saint-Jean. Napoleon stands victorious. The Seventh Coalition shatters instantly. Word reaches Vienna within days. The Congress system, designed to contain France, collapses into panic. Britain faces its worst nightmare. The Royal Navy now confronts a united European coastline under French control. Prussia's army is shattered. King Frederick William III flees east. His kingdom now a French satellite. Austria hesitates. Metternich calculates whether to negotiate or fight. His coalition is crumbling. By the way, if you like this discussion, don't forget to subscribe. There are many more interesting topics coming up. Lightbulb. Russia withdraws its forces. Tsar Alexander I sees a chance to expand into the weakened Ottoman Empire instead. Napoleon returns to Paris in triumph. But the city is exhausted. War fatigue runs deep. The French treasury is empty. Years of war have drained resources. Napoleon demands more taxes. Political rivals see their chance. Talleyrand plots with royalists to restore the Bourbon monarchy. Napoleon's brother Joseph urges a constitutional monarchy. The emperor refuses. His grip tightens. In Spain, guerrillas resume fighting. The French occupation had never been fully crushed. Now it reignites. The British Navy blockades French ports. Trade withers. Food prices soar in Paris. Napoleon orders the invasion of Hanover to secure supplies, but his army is stretched thin. A new coalition forms in secret. Britain, Austria, and Russia sign a pact to fight another day. Europe holds its breath. Napoleon's victory has not brought peace. It has only postponed the storm. Victory at Waterloo would have reshaped the Industrial Revolution. Without British naval dominance, the flow of raw materials from colonies would be disrupted. French engineers might have prioritized military innovation over civilian industry. Railroads could have been built for troop movement, not trade. Britain's textile mills relied on American cotton. A French-controlled Europe might have blockaded this trade, stalling textile mechanization. Without British coal exports, French industrial growth would slow. Continental Europe had coal, but lacked the infrastructure to mine it efficiently. The steam engine, perfected by James Watt in Britain, might have taken decades to spread. French patents and trade secrets would remain locked. Colonial empires would be redrawn. French victory meant French control over India, Africa, and the Americas. The British East India Company would collapse. In Africa, the scramble for colonies might have started earlier. French explorers would push inland, competing with local kingdoms for resources. The slave trade might have continued under French rule. Napoleon had reinstated slavery in 1802, and a victorious France could have expanded it. Enlightenment ideals would face a paradox. Napoleon was a product of the Revolution, yet he crowned himself emperor. Would he spread liberty or tyranny? Philosophers like Rousseau and Voltaire had inspired revolution. Under Napoleonic dominance, their works might be censored or co-opted for propaganda. Art would shift from romanticism to imperial grandeur. Paintings would glorify Napoleon's victories, not the sublime nature of the individual. Literature might lack the critical voices that emerged after Waterloo. Without a defeated Napoleon, there would be no Les Miserables to critique power. Social norms would reinforce hierarchy. The Napoleonic Code enshrined patriarchy and property rights. Women's rights movements might be delayed by decades. A single battle reshapes the entire continent. Napoleon's victory at Waterloo births a unified European power. Britain retreats to its island fortress. The Royal Navy now faces a hostile coast from Norway to Spain. Russia watches from the east. Without a buffer of independent German states, the Tsar's border becomes vulnerable. Austria faces a choice: submit to Napoleon or fight a two-front war against France and its Italian allies. The Ottoman Empire sees opportunity. A weakened Austria might finally lose its Balkan provinces. Inside France, the emperor faces a paradox. Victory demands constant expansion to satisfy his generals. The continental system becomes a reality. British goods vanish from European markets. But smuggling thrives. Nationalism takes a different path. Without British gold funding resistance, local revolts are crushed swiftly. The Industrial Revolution slows. Without British capital and coal exports, continental factories struggle to grow. Enlightenment ideals evolve. Napoleon's code becomes a tool of control, not liberation, across Europe. By 1850, a single empire stretches from Lisbon to Warsaw, but cracks appear beneath the surface. History is not fixed. One victory at Waterloo could have erased the world we know. But choice remains. Hi everyone. Quick reminder. Subscribe for high-quality daily content. Sparkles don't miss out. Subscribe today for exclusive content tomorrow. Wrapped gift.